Hey, Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka man of the people. Why? Because I love working for the fans of the Carolina Panthers, especially this year. We got that new number one pick, Bryce Young, the guy with so much intrigue. Um, yeah, so that's what we're here to talk about today. It was the final day of Carolina Panthers minicamp, and I'll show you a little video here while I talk over some things here for a second. Here you see a little bit of video from practice today. Not the normal videos that I've been showing you guys lately with Bryce, but I wanted to get you some video courtesy of the Carolina Panthers right now. A few shots from practice. Today was the last day of mandatory minicamp. I know a lot of you all have asked me about how this person looks, that person looks, what's going to be what. We're now one step closer to where I can actually talk a lot about what I see in a player, what I see in this new scheme, what I see potentially happen with this new coaching staff, and even Coach Frank Wright talked about that today. It's like it's still, I won't say just OTAs, but it's just you can't make true deep evaluations on these guys right now until you get down to Spartanburg, which we are about 6 weeks away from being at. See that my camera angle switched on me. Not sure why that happened. Let's try to go back to the right camera angle. Camera angle. Hold on a second. Let's see. This thing has been acting, I don't know if one of my cords have gotten a little jacked up in the office, which, you know, when you have little people, sometimes they can do that to you. I won't try to get this going too long here. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? There we go. Back to the regular camera angle. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead and get into this last video before Spartanburg. And I won't say it's the last video because certainly there's a chance for some news to happen in this off season. So if that happens, I'll go live and interact with you all. And actually, I'm sure I'm going to do some more videos of just some Q&A. A lot of stuff I've been able to observe from these past 5 weeks of practice that I haven't gone into yet, and want to give everybody just a chance to ask a bunch of questions for that. I see Chance Hines has signed on saying, hey, big thanks to everybody who watched the last video, leaving some comments, and I gotta go back to that video and make sure I comment on those things. But hey, I've asked for it and asked for it. Say, hey, help me get to 10,000. Help me get to 10,000 so I can have more interviews with players and coaches like I had with Steve Wilkes, Kate Mays, a bunch of the guys from last year, and want to do again this year. And the more you all subscribe to the channel, the more you like it so other Panther fans can find out, then the more that I can do. Trust me, it helps. And I really appreciate everybody that liked or subscribed. So I know we got some new people here, but hey, Chance, appreciate you tuning in for me. Appreciate some thumbs up that are coming on as well. So a few little news items that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about had the chance to have availability with Frank Wright, Dante Jackson, and Bryce Young today. So we're going to go touch on those things really quickly. Jonathan Mingo, our second round draft pick, has been signed. So with Mingo being signed, that leaves us with just one more player, not surprisingly, Bryce Young being that guy who we are waiting to sign. No doubts that he will sign. First round pick, number one pick, so you expect it to take a little bit longer as those sides try to get on the same page as far as that compensation package goes. And, you know, who knows why? Maybe it's just been welcomed a lot from the organization, or maybe it's just the fact that this coach is different and more liked. But we continue to have veterans who have been very, very good players for the Carolina Panthers show up. Yesterday, it was Steve Smith. Today, it was Thomas Davis. And, you know, actually, I saw Thomas Davis coming last week. It was after practice, so I can't say he was at practice, but, you know, these guys are still around. So that's pretty cool. But Thomas Davis was at practice today. Coach Frank Wright let him give the goodbye speech, wrapping things up. Basically, Thomas telling these guys, you put in so much work, putting in some good work, don't let it go all to waste during this little 5-6 week period that you're not here at the facilities. Get your work in, keep it up, and keep building. And there's a lot of positivity and optimistic that's going on around this organization. Frank talked about it, Bryce talked about it. And as far as why, Dante said, hey, I don't know if there's an obvious reason why, but I get excited to play football every year, and a lot of these people are hungry. A lot of the rookies are hungry. A lot of people are competing, and it's just that time of season. So we'll continue to bring you updates as that goes along. Tim Estes, what's up? Man of the people, that's me. I'm trying. Sorry for the late broadcast, but hey, better late than never. And my promise to you all is being a great source. So here we are. And again, hit that subscribe button because we're going to be doing a lot of videos between now and when we get down to Spartanburg to talk about whatever you all want to talk about. Once the season gets cranking, I'll do more of the posting a link in the description for you to come on, talk to me, make your statements, ask your questions, whatever it is that you have. So get ready for it. Get ready. Oh, look at this. Already. Look at it. Look, I got to read this comment here. A super chat from a man 4 more says, character with lovey-dovey eyes blowing red hearts in the air? I have no idea what you're talking about. But hey, when you do a super chat, as long as it's nothing explicit that's bad, I'll read it, right? That's the least I can do for you contributing to this channel. So appreciate it. What's going on, Josh? Appreciate you coming on as well. So Frank Wright made his opening statement about summing up how this minicamp went, and I'm going to go ahead and share that with you all.
I like where we're at. Still got some work to do, but we checked all the boxes that we wanted to as far as getting installations in, getting a good look at players. Now we have a chance these players have. It's a break, but it's really not a break, right? You got to keep working hard to get in shape. It's a break mentally from the game as far as studying, but physically keep getting better and be ready to go at training camp.
And I forgot to unmute my microphone. So let me tell you that part just again. So Frank Wright went on further to say that he likes the fact that the coaching staff is now getting to know their personnel more and better, right? And so what that is allowing them to do is make some tweaks to their schemes. So any good coach already comes in and says, hey, this is my scheme. This is what I'm going to do. These are the things that I want to try with this team. But then once you have a chance to actually see your personnel and learn a guy's strengths and weaknesses, see how they're adjusting. I know Yetur Gross-Matos, a guy that Brian Burns talked about yesterday. He's one of those guys not used to playing this scheme. It's taking a little bit of time to start to adjust, but he's starting to see that happen now. And he spent an extra about 20 minutes yesterday with Yetur going over some moves and helping get him comfortable in this new scheme. So at this point, coaches are now still going to be doing a lot of work during this break. Scott Fitterer will still be watching and his phone to ring and texting, I'm sure, trying to see what moves that he can make to always, want to continue to make this team the best that they could do. And that'll happen. And then Spartanburg, here we come. I know you guys hit the volumes out, but it's back on. So appreciate you letting me know. Sorry about that. Continuing to go on here with some updates. And hey, any questions that you all have, please, you know what to do. Just put them in the comments and I will read them. Let's go ahead and go to Dante Jackson, who spoke with the media today. Will he be back in time for training camp? Will J.C. Horn be back in time for training camp? We don't know. I hadn't even seen J.C. Horn recently, or yeah, I have seen him at all. I was about to say it all. I have seen him because I took some photos of JC, but since he had that injury, he's not been around for at least the media to see. But Dante says, in terms of how I feels pretty good. He was a little bit of a funk when it first happened, tearing that Achilles, not being able to walk and do much. But pretty much once the offseason hit after the Super Bowl, he's now in that mentality. Hadn't been able to be out there firsthand to run around, but he has been doing some things with the training staff. He feels pretty optimistic that he will be ready to run out there, put the pads on when they get to camp in Spartanburg. But he says it's not up to him. He trusts the training staff, and he's going to rely on them to let him know when he's going to be back out there. But something that we all try to get from coaches and players is, their perspective on, hey, who's been surprising? Who's jumped out to you that you didn't think, that you didn't know what was going to happen with them this season? And Dante was asked that question today, and he gave a response. So I'm going to go ahead and play that response for you from Dante.
Stanley Thomas Oliver, he's been great. They moving him around a lot in the secondary, letting him see different positions, play different positions. But he always been a smart player, a very detailed player, and he's really showing up for the defense in huge ways. This OTAs again with Chin, again with Vaughn. Those guys just coming in and just attacking their role and just been great for the group.
So Stanley Thomas Oliver is a guy who's been able to take advantage of some reps and Dante's eyes be impressive on that secondary, so which has been needed. Again, J.C. Horn has been out, Dante Jackson's been out. It's been beneficial because it helps a lot of other guys get reps that they would not normally get, and we'll just see how that continues to play out. I'm interested in seeing how this wide receiver group plays out. I know Adam Thielen has been the leader in that group, certainly in the classroom, in the film sessions. Terrace Marshall Jr. is a guy that is his third year, right? So he's been looking not too bad in training camp, and you get optimistic about what could happen of him. But you still a guy that I haven't talked about much, and I would feel like could turn it on when you get down to Spartanburg, is Damiere Byrd. And not Damiere Byrd in the sense like he's about to be our number 2 guy. Not saying that, but just as another component to this team in which gives you a deep threat, right? You got a lot of guys that I know DJ, you're optimistic about him, as you should be, but I still remember clearly when we played the Cardinals last year how well Damiere Byrd did and how deep of a pass that he was catching. It'd be pretty cool to see one smaller stature guy and Bryce Young throwing very deep to another smaller stature guy and Damiere Byrd. So we'll see how that works out and how things continue to unfold, and just keep an eye out on everything. Appreciate the likes that are coming. Appreciate the likes. We need them. Help other fans find out about us. And let me see. I got one more video that I'm going to play for you all, and then I'm going to go into the comments and the questions that you all have been leaving. Appreciate everybody that's joining me, that's tuning in. Let's go to Bryce Young.
I think really it's just, the comfortability I have, and, big thanks to that goes to my coaching staff, who's just a lot more reps on tape, a lot of great coaching, a lot of understanding, a lot of more time in the system, and, my teammates, again, embracing me, pushing me, holding me accountable. When things go well, we're able to talk about it, see why, and, try to maintain that. When things don't, again, being able to regroup, talk about it. We all take responsibility here. It's a great group of guys that, again, all look at the mirror first, and then we all come together, see what we could have done better, and then we talk about it. So, I think it's just being able to build time with this coaching staff, with this team, and build a connection. I think I'd say that'd be the biggest thing for me.
In terms of that.
So that was Bryce Young on him now versus him when he first got here. And I think it's kind of interesting to see I'm looking forward to, not surprisingly, watching a lot of Bryce Young down in Spartanburg. Because this guy, as you know, Brian Burns talked about yesterday, he's really quiet, really humble, but obviously he's super talented. This guy is not like just our next quarterback that was drafted like in a second round, third round, or something like that. This guy, Bryce Young, is the #1 overall pick in the NFL for this season. So I'm eager to see him in some more competitive situations. Not to say that he hasn't done things that have been impressive. He has done things that have been impressive. He has made good decisions with the ball. He's taken good command of the offense. He's captivated his teammates, and although all of his teammates are behind him as a leader for this team, and now let's, as in me as the media, see him with some pads on, see him with some pressure, see him with having to deal with football in a real situation. I'm really looking forward to seeing that and bringing those updates to you all about the observations from them. But he's really soft spoken. He's humble, and I'm liking the persona. But I'm also really wanting to see the competitive, the #1 draft pick abilities on the field with pads taking place. So that's just me and what I'm wanting to see. As Slideshow Rob says, hit the like button, please. Don't cost you nothing. It helps me out a lot. Continue to grow the channel. Do what we do. I know I spoke about having players and coaches, but I'm also going to continue to have other media on the show. So just look forward to that. It's always fun having other people from other beat writers on the show. That'll continue to happen this season as well. All right, so here we go. We got some questions coming in here. Do you think this is the best coaching staff we have had all around? A little bit of the yet to be seen, right? Can this coaching staff have a better record than what the Panthers had last season? That would be important to me saying, are they better? But I guess you're saying, do I think? So, yeah, it certainly seems like this is a better coaching staff than we've had in the past because you have so many coaches with so much experience, whether it's all the quarterbacks coaches, you having a head coach that was a quarterback, you have quarterbacks coach that was obviously a quarterback in the league, and that bodes well. You have a lot of former players. You have Deuce Staley with the Eagles. That's the good coach. You have, I don't know if I want to say biggest of all, but you have Dom Capers. You have Dom Capers, who was the inaugural coach for this season, back with this team. They have a ton of coaches. So from that standpoint, it certainly seems like they have the best coaching staff, and I'm looking forward to seeing even positions: defensive line, offensive line, special teams coaches, coordinators, really good coaching staff. So yes, to answer your question, Chance, that was long, but yes, I think it's the best coaching staff we've had this all around. Slasher Rob, I've been telling people Stanley Thomas Oliver, STO, has all the tools to be a good defensive back. So, hey, you're with that. You're with that. Yes, and he has been a special teams ace. He has. So, certainly has a good chance to continue to make the roster with special teams, with developing in that secondary. And, C.J. Henderson's a guy he's on the fence, right? He does not have a contract beyond this year. So we'll need to see if he's going to step up and ball out. So that's a to be continued type of deal. Slasher, Demir Bird has a skill set the top 5 guys lack. Twitchy slot wide receiver. Yeah. Underground West, I think Hayden Hurst will be a big weapon as well. I agree. I agree. He's a tight end that can, you're hoping that Trimble, Thomas, those guys build on their skill set, right? But obviously, everybody knows since man, I see his face, Greg, man, Greg Olson. Phew, I don't know. Sorry about that brain fart there. Since Greg Olson, who was phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal, 1,000-yard game, 1,000-yard game. Well, 1,000-yard season, 1,000-yard season, 1,000-yard season. Haven't been able to match that productivity. Now we've had some good blocking tight ends come through with Chris Manhertz and even Ian Thomas. And then for me, I know, man, Ian Thomas hasn't taken the curve that I thought that he would take. I know when he was first getting some reps, I felt like Ian Thomas was like, hey, we got a tight end that can block, but also can run a little bit. But that hasn't materialized nearly into what I thought it would be with Ian. He's still solid at the blocking part, but Hayden definitely seems like he could be that tight end that gets us over that hump, gets us into more productive tight end, productive in the sense of catching passes from that position for us, which would be helpful. You start getting guys that are catching balls from all positions, and the flexibility that you have added on to the fact that so many players have player position flexibility just helps out a lot. Things can be very exciting when you have all those possibilities and you have the defense on their heels wondering who's going to go where, who's going to get the ball. Good stuff. Josh, are you going to Spartanburg? Absolutely, positively. I'll be in Spartanburg. So I don't ask you to subscribe. Can't be the man of the people if I'm not feeding you all the content. So the highlight videos that you've seen me do during this year's mini camps with Bryce Young, look for those to continue, all right? They'll continue down in Spartanburg. I'm going to expand covering who I'm capturing video of. Bryce Young, of course, is the biggest focus, but Terrace Marshall, Mingo, Chark, the other draft picks, it's so much more to watch than just Bryce. But, yeah, I'll be down in Spartanburg for sure. And then we're also going to have that joint practice with the Jets, man, tongue-tied, Jets, down in Spartanburg. So that'd be great to watch. Great to watch. Not looking forward to the heat, never am. I got a new tent that I might be taking so I can not bake while I'm down there trying to do what I need to do. What's up, Felix Ram? How you feeling? Appreciate you signing on as well. Let's see. Just going through a few more of these questions here before I get out of here. Appreciate everybody that jumps on. One more question. Do you see us signing Spider-Man Burns before the season starts? Yeah. Yeah, why would you hold it on throughout the season? I think what's going on now is just your normal negotiations, especially for a guy that's going to be paid very well. We have money to pay him. So, and Fitterer's talked about wanting to get him in here, and Fitterer typically gets guys in pretty quick. I don't know if I should say pretty quick, but he gets the job done in a manner that doesn't make it be a lingering issue, right? And he's even been upfront kind of telling you when they're going to be working on certain guys. So, yeah, good question, Chance. I certainly expect Burns to be signed before the season starts. Give that man his money. Have him super hyped, super excited going into the season. Don't have him trying to wait for his bag that he deserves. Without being coached last year, how many players do we give a pass? Not really understanding that question. I'm sorry, Felix. Show. I don't think cornerback depth or edge depth is as bad as us fans think. We're going to find out pretty quick. We're going to find out pretty quick, and that's going to be really dependent on the coaching staff, right? Again, our coach last year came in and did a heck of a job and coached his team to a much better record than his predecessor. So when Rule was coaching and then Wilkes had to come in, people were getting hurt, quarterbacks were going out, and we kept the ball rolling. So we'll see. I mean, part of that is on the coaches. Seth Friday, hopefully I said it right, Seth Friday. When is the stuff in Spartanburg supposed to start? That is not officially out yet. So it's typically about the last week in July that starts. That's typically last week in July is when that starts. So we'll see. Not officially out yet, Seth. I don't disagree with you, Josh. Spartanburg will certainly be packed this year. I don't think we'll get to the post Super Bowl Spartanburg pack that we had that year, but I do think it'll be packed. All right, so Poppin says, give me your way too early prediction. On what? I might give you one. I really don't do the predictions, but I might give you one. Poppin, what's the prediction that you want me to give? How do you see the wide receiver depth chart forming this season? Marshall, Thielen, I'm not sure. I have to look at my notes on that third one. I don't know. Let's see. You're welcome, Seth. I'll try to answer all questions. You going way back here. Didn't Cam and Josh Norman have their fight in Spartanburg? Yes, they did. Their fight, their scuffle, their push, their shove. Yeah, they had that in Spartanburg. I wasn't there that day that they had that. I do remember at the time, Josh Norman was a guy that made himself pretty accessible to me, and I tried to reach out to him, and he responded but didn't want to comment on it. So that was good times. I could reminisce about this team forever, but I want to go ahead and live in the now. Look forward to what can be done now. Yeah, Chark, wide receiver 3, possibly. All right. So Poppin, you want a prediction on the schedule? Nah, I can't do that one yet. I know you asked for the way too early. I can't do that one yet. LaVisca will be used as a weapon more than a wide receiver. Yeah, he'll be all over the place. I know Coach Frank Wright talked about him as a Deebo Samuel kind of guy. So, and we really haven't been able to see, at least I haven't seen much of how well they may be using LaVisca this season. Technically, couldn't talk about it too much. They don't want us to reveal from watching practices who may be starting and game planning, but you saw him moved around a lot last year, so you certainly would expect that to continue. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in. Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. That helps other Panthers fans find out about the channel. Please help us grow to 10,000. I want to work for you. I want to get you a lot of interviews, a lot of coaches, a lot of answers. I don't mind sharing my opinion, but I also like to say, hey, player such and such, coach such and such, answer this so that the people can know directly from you about this situation. That's what I love to try to do for this media outlet. So hopefully I can earn your support with that, and we'll see you all again soon. Once again, Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.